we win this greater battle. I mean, something tells me that this is going to continue on. I mean, we've got a long fight ahead of us, guys. You know, I mean, this is a global transnational criminal network in addition to the spiritual aspect of it. So, I mean, it's going to be one after another, and we're just going to have to keep going on it.
Absolutely, man.
I was just going to say, you know, with the response to Amy Coney Barrett by the mainstream media, did you happen to see this article posted on Huffington Post? A suburban housewife and professional lawyer, mother of three, a soccer mom, apparently with the death of RBG, now proclaiming her allegiance to the Satanic Temple. RBG dies, and she suddenly realized she's a Satanist because the views of Satanists line up with the views of the left.
Well, listen, here's the thing about RBG. We're all going to leave a legacy when we leave this earth. And what you have to ask yourself is, what am I going to leave for others to say about me? Mm-hmm. Or to what have I done? What was my legacy that I'm going to leave on this earth? People could say she was a great lady, or she was a pioneer or a champion, all they want to. She was a pioneer and a champion for the kingdom of darkness. I'm just going to tell it like it is, period. She worked for the dark side. She tried to bring in, what was her dissertation or the paper she wrote? She was trying to bring in legal consent for sex for age of 12.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pedophilia, guys. She worked for the dark side, period. So this lady was a pioneer for the dark side. But when you look, we've removed 2 Supreme Court justices right now. And I had been warning about this, that when RBG goes, it would be a fight. So we're probably going to have some stuff on the street a little bit, because we've already got stuff on the street as it is right now.
Right.
It's just going to fuel things, right? So, but you have to remember, the 2 justices that we removed, Kennedy was kind of a swing vote, but he kind of swung more towards conservative sometimes, you know what I mean? So it was a big deal that we replaced him, but not as big as this one. This is the biggest one on the court that we could have replaced, and Amy Coney Barrett is going to be the one to replace her. Praise God. Mm-hmm. And so we're removing the darkness, and we're bringing in the light right now. The enemy's not liking it. When you introduce dark or light into the darkness, you're going to get manifestations. This is what's happening on the earth right now. We're introducing light into the darkness. It's agitating the demonic. They can't take it, and they start manifesting. Whichever way it is, on the street, in the grocery stores, whatever it is. And so this is why you're seeing people acting nuts right now. This is why you're seeing even family members right now, you know, this great separating. It's a great awakening, but it's also the great separating we talked about. I get the emails all the time. I know you guys probably do. Mm-hmm. You know, hey, my wife won't talk to me. My sister or this person in my family, they're wanting to leave, or they're wanting to break up. Or I've had people even say divorce them over this mess, over a political disagreement. It's like there's this thing in the spirit, if you will. When Trump became president, we crossed this prophetic timeline, if you will, that activated everything that was not of God, every throne in someone's soul. Everyone has thrones in their soul. And when you don't submit those totally to the Lord Jesus Christ, they're going to get activated. That means they're being controlled by something else. Mm-hmm. So it activates these thrones in your soul. And so if this person is not pure, if they've not been submitted to Jesus Christ somewhere, it's going to come out, guys.
Absolutely.
God is exposing every single piece of corruption in every man, woman, and child on this planet right now, and it's coming out, and it can get ugly.
Now, you know, specifically thinking of that demonic control, have you seen the preponderance of reports of rioters, when they're getting arrested, suddenly start seizing up and having some type of seizure, or almost like there's a demon that doesn't want to be taken by the police? I mean, there's so many of them.
That and the other thing, I pay attention to this also, because there's something else that I took before my friend Gina Phillips, who's the SRA, MK Ultra, deliverance minister and counselor. She's a certified counselor, right? She deals with these guys every single day. And I brought this to her, and I haven't talked to her since, because she was going to look into it for me. What I've noticed also is, because they use trauma to do their mind control with, right?
Yeah.
They have it down to a fine art. Gina will tell you this. She says their technology is light years beyond what we see right now. Mm-hmm. They can do it in an hour. They fragment your soul into 100 pieces, literally. Mm-hmm. And each piece is separated by a dissociative amnesic wall, so the other piece doesn't know what the other one's doing. So think of it as like 100 different computer programs running in that person.
Yeah.
So they could literally code in an assassination code, and they go out and you see these these school shootings, they don't even know they've done it. Now, here's the thing I've noticed. Now, you talk about when the cops catch them, something happens, right? So think of they traumatize the person first, then they do the mind control. But what I've noticed on 2 different shootings now that I've seen on video, the second these guys that they're aggressive and you see the mind control coming out, like Gina's talking about, the manifestation, and the second that bullet hits the trauma, it deactivates the programming and they go back to being their normal self. Mm-hmm. Watch that in some of the videos. I've seen this now in 2 different shootings now. I've seen this. Because again, the trauma activates it, and the trauma is like it's deactivating it and bringing back the normal person again. If that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And I mean, this is like frequently what'll happen is they'll commit the act, whatever it is, and be very vicious and in the moment. And then as soon as they've done whatever they need to do, they just sit down and and passively wait for the police to pick them up. You think back to I think the assassination of John Lennon. John Mark Chapman just sat down and read Catcher in the Rye. I mean, who's going to commit a crime like that and just sit around and wait for the police to come? Hold you dumb. I don't know what I did.
When you think about how they code in this stuff, and Gina can explain this better than I can. I don't want to get into her territory.
She's going to come on the show. Don't worry.
yeah, good. So, when you think about it, when they code this in, it's like when someone sits on a court and they say, "Well, I don't remember doing that." That's because they don't.
Yeah.
That's because they've been mind controlled. They've already completed their mission, if you will. They've been activated, and of course, we all know Hillary Clinton and all these guys, James Comey. They've been putting code out on Twitter, and yes, folks, so does Kanye West. And this is the way I like to explain Kanye. I've told people, be careful with Kanye. Mm-hmm. There's a part of Kanye that wants to serve the Lord. And it's like Gina explained it the best. There's one piece of him, that fragment wants to serve Christ, and he wants to break free of his programming, but the other 99 pieces are still running in the background, serving the dark side at night. And if you'll go to Kanye's Twitter thread, you'll see the codes that he's putting out. He's serving Jesus in one aspect, and then he's putting code out for the Illuminati code on the other aspect.
Yeah.
So, you just have to be careful with these guys. There's pastors are doing the same thing, brother. Some of these big name pastors. That's why a lot of these guys, you can't trust them right now because they're Illuminati driven. They get their 4 a.m. talking points just like the news does.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Think about how they immediately, recently, just started coming after this movement and saying that it's satanic. They call this digital demons and all those things. Yeah. But also on this point about the Supreme Court with RGB. Did you catch that clip of when Trump and was standing there in front of her casket when the lying in wake, and you could hear them screaming in the background,
gnashing of teeth.
It didn't sound like screaming of protesters, right?
No.
I had people asking me if it was fake.
No.
It reminded me of the Kavanaugh hearing when they were doing the same screaming outside. It's like if we wanted to hear a soundtrack of hell.
That's it.
That's what it would sound like.
Yep.
And that's I totally agree with you. We're watching the veil kind of, be lifted and seeing the true battle behind things. That's why I find that it's very appropriate for the circumstance that they're attacking ACB over her religious beliefs, because that's really the battle here.
Well,
and go ahead.
Yeah. When going back to that segment for a second where you're talking about the crowd was manifesting. Those were demonic manifestations from that crowd. And here's if there's a good part about this, is that even those that aren't believers can see that and say, okay, something's not right here. What is wrong with this? That's part of the awakening, guys. When people start experiencing this with their own eyes and ears and are seeing these manifestations, they know this is not right. So what is it? That's part of the awakening process for these people. And now they're going to say, okay, there is something to this here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
God bless President Trump and Melania for having to sit there and endure that garbage of what was supposed to be a solemn moment out of respect from a president to a Supreme Court justice, even though we didn't agree with her, but it should have been a solemn moment. And then you had these demons manifesting in the background.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine anybody on the right attending a funeral, for someone anybody on the left attending a funeral for someone on the right like that, offering their condolences. I mean, when they told President Trump on the tarmac as he's getting off the Air Force One to go to the rally, he seemed genuinely surprised, and, he said some kind words about her. I mean, Pelosi wakes up in the morning and, can't wait to get in front of a camera to defame the president, and not to mention the fact that everything they say about him is a projection of their own crimes, their own sins, the things that they themselves are doing on a daily basis.
Right. And you know, so you know, I want to transition to something else if you don't mind here real quick.
Please,
because
go ahead.
staying on the Supreme Court now. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine here for a second again. Who was the one that put RBG on the court?
Bill Clinton.
Did Bill put her on there, or was it actually Hillary? It was probably Hillary.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, it was actually
Bill-
it was actually reported that he went off the advice of Hillary of why he picked her.
She was the president. He wasn't, for the most part. I mean, come on, we all know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she put her on there to begin with. Well, here's the good news: one, Hillary's not the president, and Loretta Lynch is not a Supreme Court justice, because that's what would have happened. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
If God hadn't intervened. So, but here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, but things have shifted. We've had enough truth come out now to this point where things are beginning to shift in favor of the Patriots. Now, it's always been in favor, but the problem is we live in this microwave society where we got to have everything right here at our fingertips right now, and everybody wants everything right now. We had to have certain assets in place. But here's what I'm seeing the shift with. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the last couple, 2 or 3 rallies that Trump has had, because I sent this out, I tweeted this out 10 hours ago. I said, I'm hearing and seeing the Patriots at the Trump rallies have started chanting, "Lock him up,"
Yes.
instead of her.
Yes.
And meaning Barack Hussein Obama. This is the people crying out for justice to their president. Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton don't sleep very well, as they shouldn't, because justice is here and justice will be served. God told us in 2015 with these prophecies that he gave me that Hillary and Bill Clinton were going to go down, and that Obama was going to be ripped and stripped of the title of president. Now, the only way I know to do that is to charge him with treason and arrest him and charge him with treason.
Yep.
Now, some people don't think that's coming. Listen, I believe it's coming, brother. I know it's coming because God already said it's coming, number one. But the problem is, the thing is this, is people need to be getting excited right now because Trump's even going along with it. He knows this is coming. Justice is, in fact, coming. This man is going to go to prison. He will be charged with treason. He will be ripped and stripped of the presidency. Now, here's my question for everybody, is when he's ripped and stripped of the presidency, right, that null and voids everything he's done. Does that include the 2 Supreme Court justices?
That would certainly be an interesting thing if it did. You know, I mean, I can't see a world where it wouldn't. I mean, if it's going to strip everything else, I mean, why protect only the Supreme Court justices?
If it nulls and voids everything, you know, so I don't know. So, but look, he is going to go to prison. People don't think it's going to happen. You know, look, they have arrested tens upon tens of thousands globally, pedophiles. You know, you name it. The DOJ has hammered these guys, and you know, and other countries have hammered them. But what everybody's waiting for are the big fish. You know,
Yes.
Clinton's, Obama. They want to see them perp walked on national television. Well, who doesn't, man? It's coming. But we just have to hang in there right now. It's coming.
Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you think about what the president's got